Huh?
I have no picture.
You have to start your video.
Share screen. Okay, share. Okay. Join the meeting. Whatever.
Did you click your video at the
Yes,
bottom?
I hope so. Cancel. I don't want to leave the meeting. Sign in.
Just X out of it.
It says leave meeting. I don't want to leave the meeting.
Oh,
In your email. Okay. Let me try that.
So I started all over, but I got it. And I think it
oh, now we know.
Hey. Madam Chair, it is 6:01.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, that's even worse.
Okay.
Everybody else.
There you are. I see you.
There I am. Okay.
You're okay, we're streaming, we're ready to go.
Okay.
No new business, no business on the agenda is the review of the meeting minutes from July 7th.
There we go. Okay.
Everybody has had a chance to review the meeting minutes, is just need a motion to approve. Motion, thank you.
Second.
Thank you, favor stand. If you want to separate to order, all motions to approve, and then I can take a second. Thank you, Sherry. So there are two policies that is looking over. Sherry was so gracious to offer her service and provide some revisions which were provided to the committee. I did not receive any feedback from the committee, so if there's anything that you all want to discuss now, do so. I can take notes on revisions that the committee would like to suggest. Sure. So you're a communications coordinator with the direction of the from me. Yeah. Anybody else?
It's kind of hard to hear what's going on.
Absolutely.
This is how I made my living for 33 years. I can't help it, it's instinctive. I even edit my own stuff.
Just make sure that when you guys are speaking, I know that the masks make it difficult, but we do have, those that are online, so just make sure that we're speaking loud enough, clear enough. I know, again, the masks make it difficult, but if we can just enunciate and speak loudly so that they can hear us, it'd be greatly appreciated.
What would you like to, well, I have the digital communication policy.
So Paul just gave a suggestion for the social media policy, so let's just stay
Okay, stay
on that one.
either fell out of my folder. Here it is. Social media policy, under definition. First sentence is fine. The second says, in this context, the term. Are we talking about the term social media?
Correct.
Okay, I don't know, first time I looked at it, so maybe I'm talking. Okay, under guidelines. Second sentence, those posting as an individual representing themselves, one grammatically incorrect. So I don't know if you want an individual representing himself or herself, or individuals representing themselves. I would say it should be plural. Representing themselves.
So let me just, are these in addition to the suggestions that you already did with Tasha? Because I thought that you went over both of these policies.
I did, and the policy, the social media policy that Tasha found that we went over, I think it's a different one from this one.
It's not, that's the one that you guys revised. So the first one was not the correct one, which was
Right.
acknowledged by the committee. And so when you guys sat down, that was the revised one. And so then you provided her your revisions, and so she revised it. And so right after she revised it, that's when I sent it out to the committee, which was the next day, which was that Thursday. So you sat down with her on Wednesday, that Thursday it went out to the committee.
Okay. Well, usually I always tell people, and I do this myself, once you write something or revise it, put it away for 24 hours and go right back and look at it. Which is what I did. And I did find a couple of other things. There's nothing major here. So other than to take out lifestyle. Might want to put that in the active voice. On the second page, you have additionally approved members of the association staff. What's an approved member? Is that somebody different than a staff member? Me too. Because you have approved members of the association staff, the association staff, it's not consistent. So however you want to put it would be fine, but just make it consistent. I wonder where. The next paragraph, while posting on official association accounts, that the staff should engage. It should be, what's better is the staff will engage, because that's what they want to do. They should instead, at least the door open. Somebody can say, I don't know if I want to, but that's something they will. And then the sentence after that, it starts with users of respectful, will not enter agreement. So are you gonna call, are they gonna be the staff, the association?
So the staff that is currently employed by the vice is not, they don't belong to the association. So we are employed by CCSD. However, the association has a contract, so we are not employed directly by the association.
So you don't wanna say association staff will not put. I don't know.
Right, well, does a representative open up a whole slew of positions?
Yeah, you don't wanna get into that.
Yeah.
Management staff is more specific.
Management staff, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree it should be management staff and not the association.
Okay,
Because it also helps define that a little better.
It does, because,
Association staff could be, a landscaper, it could be security, and, and to manage. You know, if you want them to have the right to pose or to respond, then you would just have to put that into the thing, but management staff is specific to.
okay, and in the next sentence, at the end, you have nor will any staff member. So, we're back to member of staff. We say, any staff, nor will any staff, or just say staff.
How about if we can say something like association management staff?
But my only problem with that is that it's getting too many words in there. For you.
Oh, okay.
That might.
First time you can say association management staff and then just put in parentheses. Staff.
Well, here's, the other simple thing is under definitions, if you use the word staff, you can define it there, and then it doesn't matter how long it says staff, but yeah, it doesn't say association.
Okay, next paragraph, association staff, that'll take care of that. Will not put blah, 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 or damaging to, and then there's a colon. If you're good, or that. Chemical. User interaction and engagement. The last sentence, the decision for staff to respond or remove these commands. And I think we need to put a 2 in there. For the staff to respond to or remove comments from or whatever will be addressed. I think the sentence needs to be clear. Well, I'm just checking. Okay, the next paragraph, the association reserves the sole discretion. Now, is this the association or is this the management? Reserve the sole discretion. It also throughout remove comments that include, and then it just goes on.
so because management is the one that is, monitoring it, and that's what it is.
That's what I thought. And then the sentence goes on and on. That include vulgar language, personal attacks, discrimination on the basis of blah, 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 blah. Personal, medical, or financial. It lists everything. No matter how hard you try, you have a list like this. Somebody's gonna come up and say, you forgot this. So in order to avoid that, we should have a way to say it that doesn't include all of this.
Just say that include without limitation.
Well, that doesn't solve the problem here, because somebody's gonna come up and say you forgot that.
Right, that's what you say without limitation, but then
Oh,
Right, yeah.
I think that. I know, but look at the,
what's the alternative?
How about just summing it up like it says here, or other inappropriate content? Why don't we just put inappropriate content, period? That could, I know that says what all this is, like vulgar language, personal attacks, that's all inappropriate.
The only problem with that is who is going to decide what's inappropriate and who is not. And that is could result in some sort of issues with people who are making comments and they're not being well received or blocked or whatever else. So yeah, I have no solution to this problem because people are going to make statements that are inappropriate, somebody, typically going to be the management company, is going to make a decision that the comments that are being made are inappropriate. And most of the times that's just going to go away. However, somebody is going to hire an attorney or be an attorney and wanting to get involved in saying, who is deciding what is appropriate or not? Is there a board making this decision, or is it one individual? And that I have no way around that. I have no suggestions or solutions on how we avoid that. I agree that we should limit inappropriate comments, whether they be vulgar language or attacks on individuals, but I don't know how we go about doing that legally and not open up the Master Association to some sort of legal action. And I'm open for suggestions on how we go about doing that.
Well, that's with anything. I mean, it's like our Facebook, our community Facebook page, the board manages that. And we always give people, we don't just block them right away. We kind of send them out a personal message saying that, you know, this, especially if we get somebody that has communicated to us that they didn't think that was very nice of that person, we kind of give them a chance and talk with just send a message to these person and saying, you know, you really shouldn't be saying those things about this person and whatnot. And we have decided on this too, as well as legally, what do we have? But, you know, was attacking somebody and it wasn't in a nice way. And it's like, you know, they shouldn't be doing that. So they agreed and they haven't said any more stuff like that.
Well,
We got lucky on that one, but
if somebody continues making those kinds of statements,
then they're blocked.
You need to block them. And I'm not sure who at the Master Association level is going to be making those decisions. I certainly don't want to participate in that process because it is a no-win situation when you're telling people you can't say those type of things when they say, well, I claim my Second Amendment rights and I can say anything I want to anyone so long as it doesn't endanger their lives. So I agree with everything that's being said. I just don't know how and who is going to manage these type of comments on social media. And I wish them the best of luck.
You know, from the board representative. What is the concept behind this 100% aspect of, you know, especially considering one of the board members really discussed this at the last board meeting, wanting it enacted because you want it actually to take place. What thought? Want to do that's happening now?
So there was a situation, homeowners, and so words were stated, I guess for lack of a better term, things got heated, and so management went out to legal counsel in regards to how to hold certain individuals accountable, what should be done. So then the social media policy came, or it was looked at as far as what was in place and what needed to be revised and how to mitigate that.
Okay, well, then that opens up the question of this pretty much only covers rents. Doesn't cover committee members or anything like that. And then was that within the official posting site or was that third party? Unofficial.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay.
That's the only thing about social media. I mean, it's like Larry says, it's a fine line with everything. And I mean, I know I've read and people on Facebook, they say something somebody doesn't like and Facebook blocks them if it has anything to do with anything in the government and whatnot. And I mean, do they fight that? I don't know. You know, I mean, social media is open to all people and you see that all the time on that network that neighborhood network that's out there, and people say whatever they want to say, and others rant back and say, you just need to keep your opinions to yourself. It is a fine line with social media, and I guess I agree. What do you say, and what rights do we have? I don't know.
I have a suggestion. The paragraph above it says, any comments are welcome as long as they are presented in a respectful manner. If the decision for staff to respond or remove these comments will be addressed, but, if we can just keep that and take the next paragraph out. And that is. Okay, that works.
Oh. Oh.
I know.
Yeah. Uh-oh. The broadcast kind of went hiccubees there.
Ultimately, if someone does something that staff feels they have to be removed, they can always, and it gets removed, they can always protest it to the board as a part of the board, either an executive or public, but it's up to you.
I have a question. Is Phil at the meeting tonight?
Yes.
Phil, what, as a board member, can you weigh in on what we're discussing on how we control unnecessarily aggressive comments or comments that are deemed to be inappropriate? How do you think, as a board member, what would your position be on controlling that type of conversation, and what do you think we can and should do about those type of comments that show up on social media?
The social media that was at issue before was not an official association site. It was we cannot address that at all, except with respect to people who are committee members. Committee members serve at the pleasure of the board. The board can remove them for whatever reason they want to, with or without a policy. Policy sets some guidance for how people can expect to be treated. Okay. Doesn't seem to address it. The previous version that addressed that specifically, but I don't see anything here about that now.
So,
No, all we can do is remove a committee member who is behaving inappropriately. We want to. Other people can't do anything.
well, is that committee member a representative of the other committee member, or is that?
Well, it doesn't matter. If we don't like how a committee member is behaving, we can remove them. All the committees and the committee members all serve at the pleasure of the board.
So for committee members, they're a different breed than a little.
We can't say anything about how a member behaves on social media other than the official association social media.
So in other words, if the board becomes a majority one direction and you have committee members that address opinion the other way, you could remove them just based on that.
They could. I wouldn't recommend doing that.
But that's
But I mean,
that's pretty much what I heard at the last meeting.
Probably a process to go through.
Well, you just have it at a
Well,
board.
no, you have to vote on it in a meeting. That's all
But
you
you
have
have
to
to have
do.
a good enough excuse as a board.
What?
You have to have a good enough.
Well, you have to have a reason to convince the other board members, but if all the other board members agree, they don't, there's nothing in any of the rules of the law that says how to proceed with committee
I don't
members.
think there'll be a board where
Oh.
exactly all 5 of them agree.
No, I don't think
so.
so.
It's just a majority.
Well, yeah, but I think you'll have a variety, what I'm trying to say.
Oh,
Yes, I think it's a good idea to have some sort of policy instead of we're behaving arbitrarily.
That's true, but if we can't get a free right here, just us few, what do you think's gonna happen if we put this paragraph out?
So should we maybe suggest no foul language, no personal attacks, and anything other than that that comes up to be very derogatory statements, we just not address them, not engage with those people, because it seems that many people are more comfortable on a keyboard making insulting comments to other people or other policies, but they're not necessarily willing to show up in person and address that. So maybe we just not engage those people and they make their comments and they're satisfied, and then somebody else picks up the baton and moves on with some other conversation. But I think we really do need to limit the no foul language, no personal attacks, and anything other than that. Just let it go. People are free to say whatever they want to say. A lot of people have opinions that may be different than ours. However, I don't think we should be in a position of trying to silence those people, but we need to make sure that the conversation is not aggressive, insulting, and certainly no foul language should be included.
Right, but again, this would apply only to the official Providence page. The other pages for the community, you don't regulate, no power over at all. That's where I think most of those sorts of conversations take place. And right now,
I do agree, it's very.
management can delete anything they want to from the official Facebook page already without a policy. They're the admins.
Well, this is for the Providence, the main one, correct?
This is for Providence LDHOA.
Okay, yeah, so that's what we're talking with. Okay.
Yeah, the one that what you want to know Wednesday comes out of. I don't know, what other social media do you monitor? I saw Instagram.
Yeah, that's just the post, not necessarily. I mean, we don't post them.
But there's comments that can be.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. I don't know if there's Twitter.
Twitter is listed here as an example of official.
Yeah, I don't think Providence has it. You're just giving examples of social media.
Just want to broad cover because tomorrow, Acme, Acme News is supposed to, start using it or something, common social media. Good TikTok.
I was just about to say.
JDM is not on it. Like you bought it on it.
So on the last section, use of correction, second paragraph, you're going to just go one sentence in and then discontinue all the rest of it. Is that what I heard?
Yeah, but we say in a
I
paragraph.
didn't know that. I just want to know if that's what the intent was.
You want it to kind of go one direction. You could put in there, do paragraph 1, eliminate what's paragraph 2, and then, put rather than be issued a warning, and then also you can state that if you do get removed and you want to appeal the removal, that you're going to go with it.
Maybe we should just stop it. The association reserves the sole discretion to remove comments, period, and delete the rest of that. Okay. That's what I'm trying to find out here. Okay, good.
Okay.
Isn't Facebook supposed to be doing the police stuff anyway?
Facebook does very little policing, they fall under.
Well, I know that.
protection rights.
That's why it's in front of Congress.
Okay, and the violators will be issued a warning, like,
So the admins of the page, so obviously if there is something that has been brought to management's attention, then obviously we would say to them, hey, this is something that was derogatory or whatever the situation we have. The board doesn't have access to this, so to Bill's point, we can remove anything, we can engage with any homeowner, so we can have that process to let them know, hey, if this doesn't continue, you will be removed or your comments deleted or whatever.
okay, I was just asking because that's all it says.
Yeah, it'd be better to word management will issue a warning to violators. That way it has to voice as much as
Is
possible.
that like a written warning, like
Well,
Providence violation, or just like
Not like,
No,
no.
it'll just be
It's not
from a
like
Facebook
compliance.
a
admin.
message, like?
can we, that sentence, can we rewrite this a little bit? Because in the most extreme case, you don't necessarily want a warning, or you can put it in, I don't know if they issued a warning or requested to remove, and if not removed, possibly still remove, because if someone, says something, like threatening or something like that, Facebook doesn't always get to it either right away.
Yeah, the warning and the removal are not either or. They can remove the comment and then issue a warning.
But I think that it just means, like right here, violating, there will be issued a warning, which is saying that you must give a warning the first time. So you want to put it in a way that, in the most extreme case, you can address it.
We can make it more clear, but I don't interpret that as limiting our ability to remove content at the same time as you should.
All I wanted to know is who was gonna issue the
Yeah.
warning. And then okay, so I have repeat violations of this policy. May result in being blocked. May, I would think, will be blocked. And this just get, oh, well, gee, I've got 6 points.
Or, or it says, their beginning violators will be issued a warning. The message might be removed right away from, I just think that.
Sherry's binging over
The previous paragraph, it says, the association preserves the sole discretion to remove comments.
Okay.
That's a separate issue from issuing.
No, I see it now, yeah.
Maybe that sentence. You could say the association reserves the sole discretion to remove comment. And then go into, and I think right now I can't think of the way of words, violators, management will warn any violator.
Violators will or may issue a warning by association manager.
Actually, I wanted to turn it around and make it more accurate. That association
The
will.
association will issue a warning to violators.
Upon removal, if you want it to be more active, upon the removal of the posting, they would be issued a warning of what the violation was. Because then you're giving an explanation of why.
Yeah, what about may result in big loss? Yeah, may, well.
So the problem with repeat violations of this policy may result in being blocked. You can, I think legally, under association guidelines, if they're a homeowner, you can temporarily block, but any permanent block has to go in front of the board for that approval.
Section, the correction of time.
That would fall under state access. Not necessarily.
Now, have we gotten any guidance on Senate Bill 186 yet?
Because technically you have to give access to homeowners to things, and if you remove that access, you have to do that with the board vote. Yeah. A temporary denial until it goes in front of the board.
Is there access available on the website? Go to the website? It's not all the same stuff, right?
Can you just disable someone's ability to comment without? Okay.
So, and that's through all social media, right? That's through, that would have to fall under all social media, that you would be able
yeah,
to
absolutely.
disable their comment capability, but still allow them access to view.
Yeah.
I think you can block comments on your videos, but you can just have no comment at all. I don't know how personal people work with that.
We need problem with comments on YouTube.
You get hackers or trolls, that don't even belong to our community.
Yeah. But have we gone through that?
So are you guys saying that we should add that their post may be removed?
It actually says in the paragraph, oh, it's just broken up right now in the middle paragraph.
Is that it, sir? Or,
That's it. That's all I have.
anybody else? No? All right, so then let's go to the digital communication policy. Can you guys hear me? We're doing the digital communication policy. Deirdre, Larry?
Yes.
Right. Everybody else ready? I thought we got rid of the welcome pack.
I mean, this is pretty straightforward to me.
I agree.
I think it is it's just a couple. Because community notification, meeting, and what meetings for the. I still don't know what you said.
Meeting, adding an S to meeting.
Oh, okay, got it.
Sherry, you rewrote these?
This one, Tasha and I did.
Wait, it was a good job.
Homeowners who opt in to receive digital communication, but their primary email address on file. Right, and they have to no longer receive publications being made under the law.
So, you leave it in there, it's overridden on the next page. So if the state changes the law where you have to put publications by mail,
Right now, they've changed the law that we have this Sunday.
correct, so what I'm saying is the second paragraph or the second page then nullifies that. So what I'm saying is in 2 years, if you look back, move that, you know, the policy.
I would take it out of the policy, because it's not.
Well, that second page, that is an association related matter. I didn't want to change anything because I don't understand how. The first sentence, okay. Second sentence, a homeowner. That really should be homeowners because it's referring. There should be homeowners who opt and receive digital funds. Do not waive their rights to receive notice of association matters that would otherwise have to be provided to membership by law or the association.
There's something happening on the law.
What is it?
I think that's an attempt to just say that.
Oh, so that's the law.
There are some things happening there regardless of. But this is partially confused by the law, due to have certain things outside.
Maybe we should wait then rewrite this.
I think we need to wait until we get some guidance on how that works. And the RED is supposed to be putting out some guidance.
But that sentence is pretty much saying that if you got mail, you got a physical mail, you can turn around and sue the basically. I'm pretty wondering what that says.
Well, they should say that.
It could be worded more clearly.
I know you're a lawyer, Phil, nothing personal, but lawyers tend
I
to.
didn't write this.
Lawyers tend to bump things up.
They did.
So, why those go into effect? You have to be able to take out this, first page, for the whole, the folders, and one out with review. You don't want to see that.
Correct.
So anything regarding mail.
So until you get
Although,
guidance.
yeah, there may be things that are still allowed to be mailed but not mailed. The way the law is written now, it's so broad that anything that we electronically also has to mail.
So this, probably better off. Oh, that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then, or are they going into hiding?
October.
Well, that's how it is, if there's a law going through.
There's 3 sections of law, there's, I think this one's October. Nothing that takes back in January, there's nothing that takes like January.
Yeah, so read it out.
But do you agree that probably can't listen until we have interpretation?
Yes.
I don't agree with that.
Neighborhood updates.
Sure. Well, we're curbs, yellow, red, fire hydrants, red. It's faded, you know. Looks like it is. You haven't done it yet. Stay tuned. For Saratoga, we don't really have anything new going on.
And you're going to get the full ways of the streets that are from the streets and stop sign. Not that you could have worked, but the residents have basically said, hey, people just laugh at this, try it. So, we're gonna get, I mean, get your speed bumps. Try some, streets or dots.
They have that, they just.
Yeah. Again, it'll probably.
Yeah.
What prohibits you from doing speed bumps?
Around things.
And also, one neighborhood, kind of did put in speed bump, and everybody that was hitting the speed bump, it didn't stop them. It was stopped, and the homeowners were having.
The homeowner doesn't live in front of the people. Everyone.
The fire department was.
Live there.
Last meeting, I think about the lights out, at your entrance, press the lights out.
You mean the front sign? Yeah, probably.
Oh.
Somebody said.
There was stone, wow,
So.
okay,
No,
okay, good to know, and I won't bring it up anymore. Well, it happens, I think, right in two.
The public part, they were put in their solar lights and they like. Stuff out right around.
Oh, that's why.
So someone's got nice solar lights in their yard. Right?
That's an open invitation, you don't hear it.
Have you seen the lights?
Yeah, the word.
We have an LED bar that goes at the top of our site. So, hopefully there would be climb on it, you get. Yeah.
Try it out. their blog, the busy cats and dogs are getting up. I don't know if somebody, I think another, full of blogs down. And also, somebody was held up by gunpoint in their garage. By their car. There've been a couple of cars.
That wasn't Providence.
What is your?
I saw it on next door, so I'll get something to those.
Well, a couple of cars have been stolen, and people say there are suspicious people wandering around. I'm not sure what, suspicious. Well, some lady said, she opened her front door and was talking to a guy who was standing there and claimed he was from some organization. Passing out flyers. I don't know.
If I have a steel screen door for my front door.
Normally, my dogs start barking in the window. Especially
Going on in West End.
This last meeting, they really didn't have anything on there except parking again. And, they were gonna look at what to do within the community park because they had quite a bit. Give it back, and there's two ways to give it back. Either what?
Vacation assessment.
Vacation assessment or putting capital into the property.
Deirdre, do you have anything for Auburn and Bradford?
No, not really. We kind of been, the board has been looking into possibly more signage for people to slow down. We checked into the humps and apparently the city says they're not being done now. So we've got to find other ways to slow people down. But that's something just within the board now we're just talking about. Other than that, not really anything.
Larry, anything for Brighton?
I've heard some feedback from some of the owners in the community who were really very disappointed that we did not have a 4th of July celebration in the park. Granted, we are right across the street, so for us to participate in those activities, it's a matter of just walking across the street and entering into the park and enjoying all the activities for the evening. We did have our board meeting last week, and there were some items discussed that were not necessarily well received by a couple of the participants in the audience. One of them was the fact that we are now implementing parking enforcement. And the driving factor behind that is in the most recent reserve study, the cost to rehab the road, all the streets within our community is well over $800,000. And that is based upon last year's numbers where the inflation rate pegged at 2.5%, which I think is unreasonable. And oil prices and labor costs were significantly lower than what they are today. We've asked to have that report rerun with new bids for the ongoing slurry maintenance as well as the rehab. And we could be faced with a cost somewhere in the neighborhood of $1 million. Which we are significantly underfunded in our reserve account. And the board will need to make some decisions in the upcoming budget meeting to determine how much, if any, of an increase we will be required to make sure that there are sufficient funds to cover those repairs and maintenance in the future. So it's not that type of situation. Unfortunately, that window has just opened up because it's a 40-year life expectancy, and we are now a little more than 10 years into the process. So that window for the reserve study has opened up and showed that expense is out there in the future, and it is significant. And I'm not sure how we're going to adequately address that. We were hoping that by removing vehicles from the streets where they're excessive wear and tear on the asphalts, as well as leaking automotive fluids, we would be able to extend the useful life of the asphalt. That in combination with some moderate increases, hopefully we will be able to avoid significant increases in our monthly HOAs. I'm not sure how that's gonna pan out. We'll have to wait and see what the revised reserve study shows us. So it's a difficult situation, and I only hope that the people living within the community understand that the board is making fiduciary decisions, that we have to provide a sufficient amount of money to cover future expenses for the HOA. And that is very difficult to communicate in a newsletter, or Facebook is not really a Nevada recognized means of communication from the owners from the board to the owners. So I'm not sure how we're going to be able to communicate that given the limited participation in the board meetings, but we will do the best that we can.
Thank you. Jennifer, do you have anything to add further out of you?
Jennifer.
You need to unmute, Jennifer.
Oh, there we go. I had it unmuted, but okay. So I had a couple of suggestions or ideas that a homeowner wanted me to bring to this committee. I don't know if this is the right committee, but I said I would. So the first one was that, you know, those electric boxes and things, the cable boxes that we have along the main roads, they're asking if there's a way that they could be beautified. And the example that they gave was in Summerlin. They have, I guess, different students or artists that are, I don't know if they're commissioned or volunteer their services, but they paint them. And it just makes the community a little nicer. That was their first suggestion. The second one was if it's possible to start a farmer's market in our own Providence at one of the parks, either Knickerbocker or what is the other one? Huckleberry?
Yes.
Yeah. So they wanted to know, since we have those trucking Tuesdays and things like that, would it be possible to have vendors over on a specific day time that the community residents could, you know, participate, purchase, things like that? And then the third one was the possibility of doing, I think they call it like movies in the park or something, where we have one of those screens and a projector, and people can kind of do like picnic blankets and things like that and have like a family night. And they were thinking in conjunction with one of those Trucking Tuesday events or the farmers market type of things. So people can kind of come and families can hang out and have a nice evening out with their families.
Those are really good suggestions.
You can also partner with the city. And the city might be going out.
Yeah, I think they did that once. They had lifestyle, they did do that.
Yeah, I think it was the first event I went to.
Yeah, exactly. And you have farmers market, the contractor ended up walking away, they're at Sky Canyon now, so.
But the
But they
movie
started
one,
here.
the movie one is, like I said, you can actually partner with the city has the vehicles and stuff, and then you just pay for the license of the movie site.
So, yeah,
Location of those boxes, you can make sure it's all.
exactly, I was just, yeah.
Oh,
No,
the public utility.
Yeah, well,
Those are owned by the company, whoever.
yeah.
So a company or,
If water district is.
yeah.
But it's partnership with them, like, if someone is trying to partnership with them.
Like part of the education or something like that. Yeah.
I think the farmer's market is in
Sky Canyon.
Sky Canyon.
Uh-huh. It started off in Providence.
Yeah, going back to the slurry, you know, I know there's something possibly discussed in the future. New technology
company has a trademark on that?
What?
I said, what company has a trademark on that?
It's a product that any company can buy from.
Because, I mean, majority of the time they have their own, H5 or whatever the situation.
Yeah, so,
So it's probably something and they just named it something else.
right.
That makes sense regardless, it's the new and overlay, it varies on stuff.
No, you're not, right, so if you can delay, well, the reason why you do a mill overlay is because you layer up too many, you gotta go back down. So if you put more time between,
No, it's more of a contracting of the pavement and the deterioration of the pavement. The reason why you spray over it, it can cover it, it can prevent the UV from damaging the surface.
right, but the fact that, so when you, and I can share a couple places I looked at this in the previous place, it's definitely still a little newer out there, but picking up in California, Arizona, places like with the hot areas, because it's a lighter color, the concrete or the asphalt doesn't break down as quickly because it isn't something easy to break down. Yeah.
Yeah, we all have to worry about it, something fast in the home.
Right, it's not reflective. It's just something.
No, not reflected, that was the something back up.
I think we should put this on.
No.
We don't have to go do that too.
No, we don't.
Exactly.
Unfortunately,
All right, our next meeting is September 1st.
Hey, I have, can I,
Oh, go ahead.
I have two questions I want to ask. One, after when Keith resigned from the board and Frank was appointed the board member and people were not happy, is there any policy or guidelines on that?
About,
It's, if a member resigns before their term is up, how do you replace
The
them?
board is allowed to appoint the person until the next election.
Okay, because it didn't seem like that, we were getting different people coming up.
No, the board didn't appoint, didn't agree on anybody.
So that's what I was
A
wondering.
couple of board
But there's
members
no-
that didn't really want to replace him.
They just wanted to go without the board member?
Yes.
Is that what?
yeah.
We've been watching this on hold, right?
November.
November.
So they're looking at one board meeting then, a 5 person.
So basically, they're saying.
And everything that takes place. That would be.
Okay, the other thing you're talking about, the traditions partner, and I was curious, does Providence want traditions partners or not? Like, that's the impression a little bit, it's sort of like that, but,
that's never been the intention. So what happened was the association, because we're no longer offering the welcome packet and we're no longer offering the poster, and the association is no longer doing social lifestyle events, we are in breach of contract with those traditions partners. And so because of that, we had to look at ways to make it right, either refund their money or bring them down a tier so that they are still getting the mentions and the FaceTime with the homeowner. And so that's why we had to bring it to the committee to ask you guys, what do you feel would be the best option? Would it be to refund, would it be better to bring it down a tier? But then I didn't get a whole lot of participation or engagement from you guys, so we just decided that this suggested to the board that we reach out, ask the partners what they wanted to do, if they wanted to re-enroll next year at no cost, if they wanted their money back, or if they wanted to go down a tier, which is they're just getting the mentions in the Gazette and they're getting sponsored for the What You Wanted on Wednesday. And when we are doing the Trucking Tuesdays, they do have the option to come out and set up shop at one of the Trucking Tuesdays, so they do have the FaceTime with the residents.
well, how about offering them some other things, one like getting customers, more customers? Or would they give people who live in Providence, if they, went to that store, could they get a discount?
So they do, that's why you have the traditions card, that's why the traditional
It
partners.
just seemed a little confused to me, so I thought, maybe we could work out more things to offer them.
So we do, so that's why at the last meeting, or when Todd was here, he asked, who are the partners and what do they offer, what do they do? And we provided you guys that information, so we do have, there's certain services that are rendered and or certain services that they do provide, and as long as they have their traditions card, the homeowner can go into that establishment, show that traditions card, and they will get some type of discount for it.
I think that I sort of left with the impression nobody seemed to really care. I don't know, maybe it was the wrong impression.
No, the board was just trying to figure out we should get refunded, when they should get refunded, how we should communicate that they're getting refunded, if they did not communicate that to management what they wanted to do. All right, okay, motion to adjourn.
We're done.
I second.
Take the fork out.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, have a good evening.
You too.
Bye.